Hi, welcome back to another video. So as you would have seen from the title and the thumbnail, today's video is going to be about me talking about more of my anticipated book releases for 2023, and we are actually competing with the sunlight here because it's going to be dark soon, so hopefully we finish this really quickly. I have a total of about 12 books. Because this is meant to be for the second half of 2023, I included the books that I have already mentioned in the first video, even though I already mentioned it before, just so that it will be a more comprehensive list for the books coming out in the second half of 2023. Without further ado, let's begin. So the first book is actually The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I will be looking here most of the time because this is where my laptop is with all the information and things like that. The expected publication date, I always refer to the ones that are given to me on Goodreads, which are also subject to change, so if it's wrong, I apologize. But from what I see here, it's coming out on July 4th. Ashley Poston wrote the Once Upon a Con series, The Dead Romantics, which I really enjoyed reading. And so now we have The 7-Year Slip. This one is about an overworked book publicist who has a perfectly planned future, but she hits a snag when she falls in love with her temporary roommate, only to discover that he lives 7 years in the past. It's like very interesting. Okay, so Ashley Poston wrote The Dead Romantics, right, which is also about a romance but with a ghost, essentially a human and a ghost. And then now this one is about this thing about the 7-year difference between them in terms of the time, and it's just so interesting. Like all her romance books, both books have really intriguing premises, which intrigues me so much because they're not your typical contemporary romances. They have like an element of twist in them, which makes me even more interested in reading it. So yeah, this is coming out 4th of July. The next book is a book that I've already mentioned before. It is Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon, coming out also July 4th. I have completely forgotten the synopsis, so let's read it together. This one follows Chandler, who has never felt more like the ghost in Ghostwriter until she attends a signing for a book she wrote, and the author doesn't even recognize her. What an asshole. The evening turns more promising when she meets a charming man at the bar and immediately connects with him, but when all their sexual tension culminates in a spectacularly awkward hookup, she decides this is one night better forgotten. However, that's easier said than done because her next project is ghostwriting a memoir for Finn Walsh, a C-list actor best known for playing a lovable nerd on a cult classic werewolf show, who now makes a living appearing at fan conventions across the country. And he's also the other partner in their one-night stand. So Chandler's determined to keep their partnership as professional as possible, but when she admits to Finn that their night together wasn't as mind-blowing as he thought it was, he's distraught. He intrigues her enough that they strike a deal. When they're not working on his book, Chandler will school Finn in the art of satisfaction. As they grow closer both in and out of the bedroom, they must figure out which is more important, business or pleasure, or if there's a way for them to have both. Oh my goodness. Okay, this sounds like it's going to be a very spicy book, so I look forward to that. Rachel Lynn Solomon has also written The X Talk, which I have yet to read, but she has also written Weather Girl, which I really enjoyed. She actually has a lot of books that I'm still intrigued to read, like Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, The X Talk, and See You Yesterday. So yeah, I will continue to try and catch up with her backlist while waiting for this book. The last book coming out July 11 is by Catherine Center. The book is called Hello Stranger. This book follows Sadie, who is 1 minute celebrating the biggest achievement of her life, placing as a finalist in a North American Portrait Society competition, and the next she's lying in a hospital bed diagnosed with a probably temporary condition known as face blindness. Oh, so she can see, but every face she looks at is now a jumbled puzzle of disconnected features. As she struggles to cope, hang on to her artistic dream, work through major family issues, and take care of her beloved dog Peanut, she falls into a state of attraction with two very different men. So this is more of like a chick lit romance contemporary. The fact about the face blindness being incorporated in this book really intrigued me. I also read The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. It was okay, I guess. It was an intriguing premise, but the execution wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. So I'm hoping that this book will be better. Okay, so that was for July. Now we are progressing into August. And the first book is Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney, who wrote Rock, Paper, Scissors, which I really enjoyed. So this book is expected to come out on the 3rd of August. And this book is about how 20 years after a baby is stolen from a stroller, a woman is murdered murdered in a care home. The two crimes are somehow linked, and a good bad girl may be the key to discovering the truth. We follow Edith, who has been tricked into a nursing home, but she's planning her escape. Patience works there, cleaning messes and bonding with Edith, but Patience is lying to Edith about almost everything. Edith's own daughter, Cleo, won't speak to her, and with every reason to distrust each other, the women must solve a mystery with 3 suspects, 2 murders and 1 victim. If they do, they might just find out what happened to the baby who disappeared, the mother who lost her, and the connections that bind them. I'm hoping this will be as good as Rock Paper Scissors. I have yet to get to Daisy Darker because I've heard about a lot of mixed things about that book, so I'm still contemplating on it, but this one has intrigued me, so I hope this will be good. Next is Dark Corners by Megan Godin, expected to come August 8th. I just found out about this one, so it's actually the sequel to The Night Swim, and that one was really so good. It was the first book of this author that I read, and it was about this podcast and this mystery thriller that was going on, and essentially I was very blown away by the audiobook because it also incorporated the podcast into the book itself, and it was so good. Now that there is a sequel, I am so excited. I have forgotten the names of the characters though, so let me just read to you the plot for Dark Corners. Terence Bailey is about to be released from prison for breaking and entering, though investigators have long suspected him in the murders of 6 women. As his freedom approaches, Bailey gets a surprise visit from Madison Logan, a hot young influencer with a huge social media following. Hours later, Madison disappears and police suspect she's been kidnapped, or worse. Is Madison's disappearance connected to her visit to Bailey? Why was she visiting him in the first place? When they hit a wall in the investigation, the FBI reluctantly asks for Rachel's help in finding the missing influencer. Madison seems only to exist on social media. She has no family, no friends, and other than in her posts, most people have never seen her. Using her fake Instagram account, Rachel goes undercover to BuzzCon, a popular influencer conference, where she discovers a world of fierce rivalry that may have turned lethal. Okay, I don't want to read anymore, just in case that it might be spoilers, but I'm really excited. It seems that the podcaster is still involved in the second book, but the mystery itself is different. The characters from the first book have also disappeared because this is not a new mystery. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm hoping that the podcast will still be in this book as well. Super exciting. This next book is I'm Not Done With You Yet by Jessie Q Sutanto. This book is expected to come out August 22. I was so surprised when I read the synopsis of this because I'm used to Jessie Q Sutanto's mystery comedy books, and the fact that this is such a different tone to it is so fascinating. This one is about Jane, who is unhappy. Jane is a struggling midlist writer whose novels barely command 4 figures. She feels trapped in an underwhelming marriage, just scraping by to pay a crippling Bay Area mortgage for a house, a life she's never really wanted. There's only ever been one person she cared about, one person who truly understood her, Talia. Jane's best and only friend nearly a decade ago during their creative writing days at Oxford. It was the only good year of Jane's life, but then one night ruined everything. The blood-soaked night that should have bound Talia to Jane forever, but instead made her lose her completely. Talia disappeared without a trace, and Jane has been unable to find her since, until now, because there she is, her name at the top of the New York Times bestseller list, A Most Pleasant Death by Talia Ashcroft. When she discovers a post from Talia on her website about attending a book convention in New York City in a week, can't wait to see you there, Jane can't wait either. Oh, it sounds so intriguing. It's like, is this a case of broken friendships but obsession? Stalking? I don't know. And it's just, wow, the fact that Jessie Q Sutanto can write such different tones across different books is very impressive. And I can't wait to read this and see for myself whether it will be as good as the other books that I've read from her. So yeah, very excited. Last book that is coming out in August is Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. Elizabeth Lim wrote Spin the Dawn, that duology, and the Six Crimson Cranes duology. This is a tale of 2 sisters, one as beautiful as the other is monstrous, who must fight to save each other when a betrothal contest gone wrong unleashes an evil that could sever their bond forever. Chani was not born a monster, but when her own father offers her in sacrifice to the demon witch, she is forever changed. Cursed with a serpent's face, Chani is the exact opposite of her beautiful sister Vanna, the only person in the village who looks at Chani and doesn't see a monster, the only person she loves and trusts. Now 17 13, Vanna is to be married off in a vulgar contest that will enrich the coffers of the village leaders. Only Chani, who's had to rely on her strength and cunning all these years, can defend her sister against the cruelest of the suitors. By in doing so, she becomes the target of his wrath, launching a grisly battle royale, a quest over land and sea, a romance between sworn enemies, and a choice that will strain Chani's heart to its breaking point. I always love books about Asian mythology. I'm really excited to read this book as well. I think it's a standalone. So far, there hasn't been a sequel announced just yet. Next, for September, only one book, and it is already a book that I have mentioned before, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. There is now a cover, and it's so pretty. This is going to come out on 19th September. It's about two rival students who investigate this reclusive author's legacy, piecing together clues through his letters, books, and diaries. In this book, there are dark forces, both mortal and magical, conspiring against them, and the truth may bring them both to ruin. So it is a fantasy, mystery, romance, gothic, thriller, a lot of things that I am very excited to read about. I think this is like a touch of academia too. In October, also only one book that I've already mentioned before as well. It is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. We also now have a cover. I don't really like this cover, but oh well. It's 597 pages. Oh my goodness. So in this story, we follow Cal, who is an orphan stolen from the life he knew to become the sword catcher, the body double of a royal heir, Prince Connor Aurelian. He and Connor are close as brothers, but Cal knows he has one destiny: to die for Connor. Lynn Castor is one of the Ashkar, a small community who still possess magical abilities. By law, they must live behind walls in the city, but Lynn, a physician, ventures out to tend to the sick and dying of Castellane. Despite her skills, she cannot heal her best friend Mariam without access to forbidden knowledge. After a failed assassination attempt brings Lynn and Cal together, they are drawn into the web of the mysterious Wreckpicker King, the criminal ruler of Castellane's underworld. Yeah, I'm gonna stop reading there just because I don't want to spoil too much of the book. As I've always mentioned, I really loved Cassandra Clare's writing, and I always felt that it was a pity that she only wrote within the Shadowhunter world. So now that there is finally this new series that is not in the Shadowhunter world, I'm really excited to see for myself whether she is really one of my favorite authors or it's just that I really love the Shadowhunter world itself, if that makes sense. We are now on to the last month, November, because I cannot find anything about December just yet. So November, the first one coming out November 7 is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. We also have a cover for it now. I kind of feel like this cover isn't as nice as her other covers. This is also the first YA that she's written. Mallory is done with chess. Every move counts nowadays. After the sport led to the destruction of her family 4 years earlier, Mallory's focus is on her mom, her sisters, and the dead-end job that keeps the lights on. That is, until she begrudgingly agrees to play in one last charity tournament and wipes the board with notorious king killer Nolan Sawyer, current world champion and reigning bad boy of chess. Nolan's loss to an unknown rookie shocks everyone, but what's even more confusing, his desire to cross pawns again. What kind of gambit is Nolan playing? The smart move would be to walk away, resign, game over. But Mallory's victory opens the door to sorely needed cash prizes, and despite everything, she can't help feeling drawn to the enigmatic strategist. I have never read or consumed any kind of media related to chess before. I know nothing about chess, so I'm rather apprehensive about this one because I love Ali Hazelwood, but I don't know how I will feel reading about this book about chess, about YA. It's the first book that has not been about STEM, being a woman in STEM, or anything scientific. It's about chess. I have my concerns, but I still love Ali Hazelwood, so I will still read it and hopefully it'll be good. This next book is also coming out November 7 and is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. So I haven't actually read Legends and Lattes, and this book is actually the prequel to that. So I'm not sure if I should wait for this book to come out then I read Legends and Lattes, but I don't think I can because I'm planning to read Legends and Lattes for a video. So we shall see. But I really love this cover. Oh my goodness. The dog and the cat. Oh. They actually came out with a new cover for Legends and Lattes, so I'll put the comparison here, and then they also have the new cover for Bookshops and Bone Dust. So I took some time to think about what cover I wanted, and I think I decided that I like the one with the characters more, especially with the dog and the cat. Like, oh my goodness, they say that it's like cozy fantasy, which is a genre that I really like. So even though I haven't read Legends and Lattes, I feel like it will be a favorite, and so this will be as well. This is a journey of high fantasy, first loves, and secondhand books. And what more do I need? I don't even want to read the synopsis because I don't want to spoil it for myself. And the last book, coming out November 29, is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. Lynn Painter has written Better Than the Movies, which is one of my favorites this year, I would say. She has also written Mr. Wrong Number, which I thought was okay, it was fine, and The Love Wager, which I really enjoyed as well. So now we have Betting on You, and the cover just looks so much like the Better Than the Movies one, right? This one follows a teen girl who unwittingly finds herself at the center of a bet while working at a water park. When 17-year-old Bailey starts a new job at a hotel water park, she is less than thrilled to see an old acquaintance as one of her co-workers. Bailey met Charlie a year ago on the long flight to Omaha, where she moved after her parents' divorce. His cynicism didn't mix well with Bailey's well-behaved temperament, and his endless commentary was the irritating cherry on top of an already emotionally fraught trip. Now they are still polar opposites, but instead of everything about him rubbing her the wrong way, she starts to look forward to hanging out and gossiping about the water park guests and their co-workers, particularly two who keep flirting with each other. They make a bet on whether or not the cozy pair will actually get together, and then their feelings develop from there. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for this book because I also don't want to spoil myself too much. With that, we have come to the end of this video. Those are the 12 books that I am anticipating for the rest of 2023, which will be a spoiler for one of the questions for my mid-year book freakout tag because it'll be one of the books from here. I hope you enjoyed, and I also hope that this video gave you some more recommendations as to what to read for the rest of the year. Let me know what are your anticipated releases for the rest of the year as well, so we can have a little discussion in the comments below. If you are still watching, please comment the star eyes emoji. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel for more of such content. I hope you're having a great day or a great week whenever or wherever you're watching. Remember to stay hydrated, and I will see you in my next video.